All right, it is November, and it is our monthly USA Hockey segment where we bring all the goodness and great things that USA Hockey is doing supporting youth hockey players into our community. And today's a little bit of a coaching focus angle, wouldn't you say, Jared?
Yeah, shout out to all the coaches there. Put me in, coach. That was an appropriate song that's leading us in today. But we've got joining us today from USA Hockey, Jason Guerrero, who is the assistant coach at Northeastern University. That's a big time D1 ice hockey team. He also coaches his son's youth hockey teams, but I think he's got a 10U and a 12U. And he's been with assistant coach on the 2024 U.S. Youth Olympics team. He works with the under 17 men's select team, and he'll be working with the under 17 Four Nations tournament. So definitely an expert coach that hopefully we can pick his brain. And as always, we can steal some great ideas and bring those ideas to the masses so that they can steal it as well. And then we're also joined by Scott Pollock. Scott, he's the regional manager for the ADM. That's how we started with USA Hockey back in 2009. He is now the director of player development. He's been in that role since November of 2022. And as director of player development, and in his vast knowledge of the ADM, he's going to also have some great tips and topics for coaches. And maybe we'll get a couple of drills that we can pry out of these two guys and share with our folks. But Scott really focuses in on 16 states, southeast. So this is a great opportunity for our youth hockey organizations in the southeast and Midwest to listen in. And he's a Bowling Green State University grad. He spent 7 seasons there as their head ice hockey coach, which is that's not a big deal. If you're keeping score at home, that's a pretty awesome role, and he should be a great expert for us to pick his brain on. So if you're a coach listening in today, this should be a very valuable and awesome show for you. So without further ado, Grant, can you bring in our guests here? Gentlemen, I hope that intro I hope you guys are good with that intro, but we're so pleased to have you on here today. And gosh, I don't know, Drew. It's not very often we get guys with this much high level and low level experience. And low level, I mean you and me, and high level, I mean these two guys. So how you guys doing today?
Good. It's great to be back, though. We had that great hit in August there, so thanks for having me back.
Scott, it was one of our highest rated shows. I was getting texts from people all over the country talking about, how awesome Dan Jablonic did on that and how we got this guy Scott on here. And they really, really like the folks from Sweden and Finland. So we figured
Dan and the Finns brought the ratings up. Yeah.
Dan and the Finns brought the ratings up. So that's why we had to bring you back on, but with Jason. So,
exactly. Can't bring this guy on solo, that's for sure.
In Scott's hair, obviously. I think that's why they got on his.
Yeah. I mean, he goes sans hat because he can, right? Well, thanks guys for joining us here. Super excited, and this is let's get right to it because we want to provide the premise behind our show as we've mentioned to Scott before, and Jason, this is your first time on, is really speaking to coaches, parents, and players. Looking at them as really the three core tenets of youth hockey. And beyond that, as we worked with Bob Mancini and putting together different topics for USA Hockey, he helped us really focus in on really the 90%, the vast majority of coaches and players and parents who are either new to hockey or are looking at hockey as a joy, as a sport to play, but not necessarily as a means to making a living or even getting an education at some point. And we bring on folks like you who have such great information and such great experience to kind of give perspective and also give tips that are adaptable. And so far we've had a great start to our short tenure here as a show, and we've got some, hopefully some great topics and some great discussion points. But I'll kick it over to Drew to kind of, get us started here, and, it's free form. So, no need to raise your hand, just like jump in and let's get talking.
Yeah, thanks for joining, guys. I'm a defenseman. My boys are defensemen. And so I'm going to hop right into it with a little bit about body checking. So, as Jared set the table nicely for, 90% of our youth hockey players are playing, at least in the state of Missouri, what we call A1 or A level, B level, and C level hockey. So this is tier 2 hockey. And I'm interested in hearing your guys' perspective on how coaches out here that are helping these A, B, and C level players can really help at the 12U level begin to prepare their kids for body checking as they move to 14U the next year. And I have to imagine that what you might recommend might be different for an A level player, a B level player, and a C level player. But if we could kick it off there, I think that's a real critical time for coaches and for kids. Statistics have shown a lot of kids stay in youth hockey, moving into 14U. There's also a lot of kids that exit hockey, moving into 14U. So how can we help our coaches that are helping these kids get better around body contact?
You know, Drew, appreciate it's a great way to start things off. I'm going to send it over to Jason in a bit to really zero in, because I know he's got the 10U. He's got a lot of knowledge in having kids move up from 8U to 10U and understanding that age group right now. I think the biggest, from a mindset standpoint, historically, I think probably comes into mind. I know body checking and body contact has evolved so much in all levels of hockey. I mean, what's allowed and what's not, and what's really become effective in our game. And I think if you go back historically over the last 25, 30 years, there was there was a major shift in our game that really took the hands from up here and got the game back on the ice and got the stick more involved in the stick details. And defensively now, that's really kind of the key. And really, when we're teaching body contact, you can't really do that without the stick details and leading with the stick and where that leads to with body contact and body checking as you move up the ladder, I think is so critical. And again, this is now a penalty. I mean, it's just the cross-checking motion that you can't, especially in our sport or in our levels. It's an easy penalty to be called with the extension of the arms. And it's funny, we joke all the time. There was we were taught to play this way years ago. I mean, we our hair sticks are up here, and now it's been so good to see the stick details and stick back where it needs to be defensively and leading into checking. And Jason, I know it was kind of a rambling start to that, but I think it's such a critical thing and I think it's important for the coaches to understand and to have that as kind of a basis that they're teaching is a stick detail and leading into the body contact.
Yeah, no, he's exactly right. And the thing is so I'm in basically one of the ADM managers for the New England district and the Mass district. And a big part of my day-to-day is actually delivering these in-person clinics of body contact angling clinics. And I could do one every day here in Mass because there's a town, there's a team everywhere. So it's a big one that people are requesting, but they all think it's like checking, like I'm going to line them all up and they're all going to start like hitting each other. And it's like, from the 80s, it's
worked
like
for me.
And I said, guys, I don't even want to call it checking clinic anymore. It's like body contact and angling, because the game is constantly, as Pooch was saying, even the stick up, it's not so much that, but a good player can still make a play underneath you, right? So if I'm up, a good player, I'm going to soak you in all the way to me and take you out of it, giving my next guy more time with the puck. So a little bit of is the terminology that has to stay the same with the coaches. Because I hear coaches when I'm on the ice, one's using one thing, one's saying another thing. Kids 10 years old, 12 years old, it's got to be just I use it with even the 10Us. We don't talk about angling at 10U, but it's just stick on puck. And stick on puck means stick on puck, not swiping. It just means extend arm, stick on puck. Once we make contact, now we're 2 hands on the puck. So now we can get inside, and now there's that contact of the body. So that's like the start of it, is the kids understanding, as Pooch said, that's so important, that the constantly, and you watch at the highest levels, their sticks are constantly dictating the play, taking away seams. I can actually angle you towards the wall with my stick and keeping you, on the outside. Essentially, the teams that, win the middle of the rink are the teams that actually win the ice, and that's in the middle of the rink, and puck's got to go there. So angling is everything. And, it's the angling too, the checking. This is where like everybody thinks like checking in just run guys. A lot of the times when guys are doing that, you see it on Instagram, it's a big hit. But most of the time that the contact and angling is happening is that if I'm angling you, I'm able to keep my forward motion going. So even if I angle you and I make a little contact and you still make a play over me, I'm now able to, keep moving forward, keep my feet in a forward motion. So now I'm able to recover back to the middle, where it used to be just run at the guy. I hit him, miss him. I hit the wall. And now he's on the inside of the rink and I'm on the outside. Now I'm back checking. Right. So a lot of it's your feet placement and keeping that forward motion, because the best players, you can see the guys in the NHL. It's hard to for kids to watch and see this, but they all recover well. It's because they're not flying 100 miles an hour and then ending up on the outside and then they're on the inside. So there is that contact. All the drills that I do or that we've come up with USA Hockey involve a little bit of the body contact, but separating the opponent from the puck is our main goal.
I think you just said something really important there for coaches that are listening. You said forward motion, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so maybe I just want to clarify this. And when you're saying forward motion, you're also moving your feet, right?
Yeah.
You're not
defending with your feet is what we like to call it.
Yeah, a lot of guys, what'll happen is that so in these drills, they'll start to figure it out, and they'll angle, they'll keep their feet forward, and they'll have a good stick on puck. But it's the moment they get their feet. So if you're coming down the wall and I'm angling you and I do a good job and I start to get ready to make that contact, I have stick on puck, they go boots down, and that kid's still skating because he's like, this guy's coming, I got to keep going. And that's like the second part where coaches, you got to focus on stick on puck, and again, it's not the kids want to go stick on stick. I can still make a play. It's like the constant reminder at all levels. And the thing is, I say to the kids at the 10U, 8U, I'm like, you guys make the same mistakes as the guys in the NHL. You do.
Yep.
They just make it way less. That's all it is.
Yeah, and if you're
That's
not
the
moving,
difference.
And if you're not moving your feet, then it's probable, then you might be reaching, and then you're not moving your feet, and things like tripping and
lazy stick penalties.
Because then, as you said, that player that's on the wall that's preparing for that angling, if he's moving his feet, he's going to try to skate through that. If you're the defender and not moving your feet, you're going to reach, and then you're going to take a penalty. So I think that's a really critical thing for coaches, especially with young players. Less skilled is not the way to say it. These kids just happen to be playing C-level hockey on their journey to get better to B-level players and A-level players. So moving your feet is what I hear is a critical component.
Yeah, and I think if you break down exactly what that conversation was, and Jason talking about the moving the feet, the angling, the stick on puck, the leverage that comes through that. That's the teaching of basically the breakdown of the teaching. And I think it comes, for all the youth coaches listening, I think it becomes a priority that I think coaches always want to get to something else. And I don't understand the importance of everything that we just talked about, the importance of moving your feet, angling is probably, in my mind, one of the least or the most neglected key aspects of our game, especially at the younger ages. And I think that's an on the ice, off the ice thing we can work on with our players all the time, and it's fun. There's an element, it's a fun. I actually can into a longer story later on if we have time on that exact that deal. But I think it's an important thing for coach to realize that's all those steps of angling and stick detail and the leverage that goes along with the contact and staying in that battle and not only separation from the puck, but the ability to win the puck too, because you're in a better area because you put yourself there. So
it's timing too. It's timing.
Yeah,
that's the big thing.
Yeah,
and to stick with this topic really quick, we talk about C-level players on their journey. Well, a lot of times those coaches at that level are also still on their journey, and they're as susceptible as players of seeing highlights, and maybe they watched Rock'em Sock'em Hockey last night as a preparation for this call. I don't know. I might have done that. But how do we help coaches identify, and to Scott's point, to Pooch's point, how do we help them identify like how much time to spend on this, not just the footwork and the angling, but also the timing, because what we're seeing is players are late to the puck.
Yeah. But you don't even
late to the check.
You don't have to like when we run these clinics, you don't have to do this. Like they're all have angling in it. And most of the kids, like they just did the drill. They wouldn't even know it's an angling drill. Like there's some kind of cookie at the end of it, some kind of game, some kind of one-on-one, maybe some transition or something. So it's not like I say, all right, we're going to work on angling today. You find a way to, create that environment that's going to force them to angle. Now we're going to teach them the angling within this little drill or game. Yeah. And the one thing that I did, I know we might have to go to the next topic, but with the angling. So if I'm angling you down the wall, for some reason I have a bad stick and I start to reach stick on puck and you cut now behind me. Is it, you follow? So you cut to the middle.
Yep.
A lot of kids now will stop and go back this way.
Turn around the wrong way.
So
they're opening the gate.
That defeats the purpose of your feet with the puck and my feet going forward. So if I do a bad job, both of our feet are facing the same way and you cut to the middle. Now all I do is just go to the middle and I go stick on puck and I'm back to the middle and nothing happens.
Yep.
And when kids see that, they start to go, oh, but they all want to stop and go back. And it's like, you're out. You're done now.
Yep. Yep. When I was coaching 12U few years back, we would have an off ice practice where we were literally in this kind of this play turf area where we were, if you're a left-hander on the right side, how you hold your stick, and what do you do if you get beat to the inside, or if you're a right-hander on the left side? Because I think those are the little nuances that young coaches or newer coaches who maybe didn't have high-level playing experience or haven't been coaching as long, those are the type of things that reach out to USA Hockey, reach out to your more experienced coaches, because those are the things that will help that C-level player become a B-level player the next year. And that's what we're trying to do, because the attrition rate at 14U and then even at 16U and beyond, we know that it's going to be natural. We want players for life, and coaches.
We have those off-ice body contact drills on the website. I'd encourage coaches to get there, because again, ice time, as we know, I mean, we have the ability, maybe, in some areas of the country, we have that dreaded 50-minute hour, which has always amazed me. That it's a 50-minute hour, not the 60-minute hour. But we have the ability off ice to work on a lot of this stuff, the angling, the body contact, and we do have those on our website.
I'd be happy to send what I've been working on here too, with different plans that I've a lot of the stuff we have for USA Hockey, but
it's tough.
I tweak some things, and again, it's nice having a 10-year-old. It's and I'm really teaching it, but it's we do some stuff that's within the games, and you're kind of getting them to understand. For me, it's just stick on puck. That's the
lead with the stick on puck, huge. And get there in timing. So, we could talk about this forever. And we've already shown that we can bring guys on again, so we'll probably do this as well. But let's transition, because to the non-tactical aspect, because hockey, I mean, for a lot of things, I always say hockey's the easy part. The hard part is coaching and communicating. And, Drew and I right now are coaching at the high school level. And we've got varying levels of sometimes commitment, varying levels of ability, but really varying levels of just communication ability, from both the players and the coaches. And you guys have both coached at super high levels. You've coached at youth levels. So you probably have all the stories and tips, and you're going to give us all the silver bullets here on how to communicate more effectively with the players, especially. Drew and I were talking, and I'll talk a little bit here about this. When we were younger getting coached, there probably wasn't that much difference between the communication style that we were getting versus what our coaches were getting back in the the 50s and 60s. But it just feels like in the last 15 years or so, and this is all great evolution, but communication has just evolved. What are some things that you guys have been able to employ, or some tips that you can give to the coaches out there to just help communicate, not just the drills and the what and the whys, but also like, hey, please RSVP to practice so we know how to make this the most impactful as possible.
Jared, it's an unbelievable. This is probably as important a topic as far as today's teaching, coaching, no matter what sport we're in. And I've learned so much and follow, and it's funny because that's why I love coming on the show. We talked earlier about some of the younger coaches or newer coaches are on their journey, or maybe on their journey. I think all of us coaches are always on their journey, and I think that a little bit a little older than some of the guys on this. Than I know my compatriot here on my at least on my right here on the screen, but. Here's the deal. Like, I've learned so much in terms of in that element. Talk about the coaching part of this youth hockey. To me, the two things that have hit me over the head. Number one is that coaches need done it. If you're athlete centered, you have a much better chance of being successful. If your end goal is all about what's right for the athletes, then you have a much better chance to be successful. If it becomes something different and it's not for what's best for all the athletes on your team, I think it becomes a little bit difficult. And I think from a youth standpoint of that, I think the most critical aspect, and we talk about all the time, everyone talks about it, is understanding that the age appropriateness of what we're doing is so important. And that Jason has to, he's got to teach, he's got to work and communicate with his 10-year-olds a lot differently than he would have a year ago at Northeastern. I mean, it's that simple. And yeah. I think that's hard for coaches. I think it's a hard thing for people to understand. Hey, I know what I'm doing. It's what I did and they did, but it's not. I mean, we know. So I think from my standpoint, if we understand we need to be responsible for what's best for the athletes, if we put them at the forefront and we do it age appropriately, I think we're off to a pretty good start.
Well, let's continue that conversation when we come back from the break here. We got to pay a couple bills. So this segment of Too Many Men on the Mic was brought to you by 5B Designs. St. Louis hockey families and business leaders, if you need custom gear that stands out and stands for something, it's time to meet 5B Designs. Founded by Shannon Berhini, a proud St. Louis mom and entrepreneur, 5B Designs is a woman-owned small business that brings purpose to custom apparel. Whether you're suiting up your youth or high school hockey team or leveling up your company's branded swag, right here on my hat, 5B delivers top-notch quality with a personal touch. If you need a team store, no problem. Corporate polos or event giveaways, they got you covered. 5B makes it easy with fast turnaround, flexible service, and design your players or employees will love to wear. Check them out at stores.inksoft.com/5B Designs. That's the word 5, and see what purpose-driven apparel looks like. And we'll be back.
Youth hockey travel experiences. This segment of Too Many Men on the Mic is brought to you by Big Bear Tournaments, your go-to for unforgettable youth hockey travel experiences. We bring the highest value and best competitive experience for all age groups, longer periods, incredible destinations, and some of the best championship awards you can find. With hockey season officially underway, Big Bear Tournaments has you covered for all your tournament needs, whether local or out of town. Registration and more info can be found at bigbeartournaments.com.
Well, we were going into the break talking about communication, and I think Scott had some great points. Jason, you from your time at Northeastern to your time with 10U and 12U and all folks in between. understanding that, we always want to set expectations and what I like to call accountability without alienating the players. Sometimes kids don't necessarily understand that when you're holding them accountable, you're not trying to be a jerk. You're trying to put your arms around them. But Drew and I, we harp on watch a full game, stop, get off your devices and don't just watch the highlights or, how do you, is there a way to leverage some of the things that are ever present in our kids' lives to help get our points across? What do you think about that?
Yeah. So it regardless of you coach the NHL, you coach 8U, if you ever get a chance, you got to read there's a book on WD-40. We all know WD-40.
Yeah.
I mean, why is it still around? So the phrase you got to connect before you correct. So regardless of the age, 8U, 10U, NHL, same at Northeastern, I would run the power play or the penalty kill. If I just come in guns a-blazing and say, this is what you need to do, and it's NHL draft picks, right? They're going to be like, but you've got to build before even the communication. I mean, not the communication, that falls within it. But if you can connect with your kids, your players, anyway, I mean, think about there's a million different ways that you can constantly connect with kids, like asking them how their day was at school, like little things that they, I spend a lot of time talking to their gym teachers and their teachers, seeing what the terminology is that you're using. So I'm in the know of what they're doing. So now I can joke with them and they can laugh. So now there's that connection, especially with the 10U team. I mean, so now I'm able to push them a little bit. I can hold them accountable because they trust me, right? And I connected with them first, where if I just started saying every time you got to have stick on puck, they're not going to listen and they're going to do it. It's like my son. I could tell him to do something at home and he's going to do the opposite because I just keep yelling at him, right? So for me, since I've 13 years of coaching college hockey and now coaching, helping USA Hockey and working for USA Hockey, it's the connection for me. If I can connect with you and you feel comfortable and you trust me, now I can get a little bit more buy-in and then I can push you a little bit more. And I can hold you even more accountable because you trust me. But if I don't build that trust initially, I'm fighting an uphill battle where I'm just starting to get frustrated because I didn't build that connection.
Yeah, I'm stealing that ism. Connect before you correct.
Yeah,
we're all about isms here, and
my dad is the one who said that to me because he stayed.
I love that.
He stayed in the same company from 17 till 65, picking up papers, construction company. And then he became like the manager, and people stay in the company for like 30, 40 years. I'm like, how is that possible? He's like, I got to connect before I correct because someone's got to be working on Christmas Day. And if there's a problem, there's a leaks, I got to call them. And if I have a good connection with them, they'll do it. And that's the thing. If like Pooch, like I'm not going to make him blush here, but he's like such a good human being that if he was like, hey, I'm in a pinch, I need help, I'd be like, absolutely. Right. But if he's an a-hole, I'm like, I'm busy. So it's that connection. That's everything.
Well, I think that. Yeah. Well, and I think the key to this is another Bob Manciniism that Drew and I picked up on right away when we met with Bob and started to formulate this segment of our show was, show them the fun too, right? Conditioning and physical fitness is a part of the game, but how can you make it fun? And Bob had made a comment, and this has stuck with me. He's like, if you're an 8U or 6U coach and you see the good coach sees his kids doing snow angels, goes over there and says, hey, great snow angels, great snow angels. The great coach gets on the ice and does the snow angels with them. And that's the connection. So I love that. And, Drew is, of the two of us, he's always leading with fun, and so I'll let him kind of segue into our next.
There's one more thing I want to add. So like with the 10U, we do like a bingo card, and on the bingo card, there's 20 squares. I'll put, and if you fill up the entire bingo card, you get a prize. I'll give them something like a USA Hockey, jersey.
You got to share that so we can put that out to the masses, man.
But in that bingo card, it's like shoot 50 pucks. Okay, check. Stick handle with your eyes up, check. Do your own laundry, check. make your parents breakfast, check. So now the parents are like, what are you doing with my kid? It's unbelievable. He made us breakfast. So you make it
gamified
fun.
it. It's great.
Yeah, you make it fun, and now you're holding them accountable, and kids know that if they don't do it, they're going to talk and be like, well, he already did it. I got to finish mine. And it forces them to get off the screens because I'm like, go shoot pucks. Like, you got to finish your bingo card. So there's a lots of ways. You just gotta be a kid.
I love that.
Well, and you just nailed it. You got to be a kid. So you gave some great examples on gamifying and things to do in that example outside of the rink. Let's bring it back inside the rink now, and let's talk about how coaches can incorporate some of that fun in practice. We had a gentleman, a hockey director over on the Illinois side of where we're located in Missouri, and his example of how he brings fun into practices for coaches is he plays music during practice, the entire practice. I'm not saying it's a great idea or a bad idea. Personally, I love music and can't get enough of it, and I play guitar too, so I'm all for it.
We're always open to gigs too. We're also a 2-man acoustic group.
Exactly. So I'm interested in what you two gentlemen can point our listeners to around inside the rink. How can we bring fun as coaches, and then being a kid as a coach that can translate over to a practice?
So I think there's, and I know Jason will have some really good ideas of where he's at with his kids. I know he brings that, and I think so much. You were asking the what as far as things that what can we do on the ice as far as activities, whatever. And I think everybody understands. I mean that the aspect of having kids in any type of compete mode and going up against their buddies is always that thing. But I think it goes even before that, before you get to that part of the what, it's really the how you're actually handling or how you're conducting your whole existence as a coach, from the time they enter the rink to the locker room to on the ice, the whole thing, and how we respond and how we interact with the players. I mean, are we providing an atmosphere for kids to truly enjoy the experience from the time they show up for a training, a game, whatever the case may be. And I think our responses to certain situations, how we handle that, or are we creating a tense mode, or are we creating an environment that's actually one that kids do want to be a part of? And I think so. I think there's two parts of this. Is us setting the tone as coaches and allowing that to make sure the atmosphere and the environment is one that has a level of enjoyment to it, and then also things that we can do, and whether that be, again, anytime players are involved in competition, races, different things where scores kept, they want to fill their bingo card out before the next guy. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Kids don't sign up for hockey to practice. They sign up to play games. Like, that's the reality of it, right? What's that? Oh, I can't hear. Can I hear?
Yeah, I got you.
There's another ism. That's 2 now for Jason. I don't know, Pooch. He's I mean, if we're doing a competition, he's up 2-0. He's up 2-0.
He's winning the word jumble for sure. He's got it.
Worst lead in hockey, but he's up 2-0. I don't know.
Well, it's my kid, because I have the kids, right? I got a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, and he's like, "Are we going to practice today?" And I'm like, "What? Yeah." And he's like, "Are we gonna play those games again?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, good." Like, so it's right there. I'm obviously doing a good job, because he's like, it's not a real game, but it's a practice in the calendar. Yeah. And he's like, "Are we going to do those games again?" And for me and for Pooch and all these coaches, you were tricking them. Like, they don't understand, and all these different things that we're doing with them, that they just think it's great because they're playing one-on-one and they're shooting off a tire. But like with the drill that we're going to talk about, like there's just so much. But I think a lot of the fun part too, and where I see coaches that are frustrated, is because they don't have a plan. If you have a plan and you're prepared before you go on the ice, typically it's gonna be because you thought it out. Like this seems fun. Okay, they're not gonna like this. I mean, I have the benefit of being in the car, and was that drill fun? I didn't like that drill. All right, well now I know I got to tweak it.
Yeah.
And I think the hardest part was their coaches like myself that coach your own kid. That is a hard thing to do. So again, another fun thing that we do is when it's cold, we won't do it as much. We'll just do it. But in the car ride to the game, I'm dad. Once we get out of the car, we leave our stuff in the car. We take a lap around the parking lot and I transform into coach. And then we go in and I'm coach. And then after the game or after practice, we drop our stuff at the truck. We do a lap around the parking lot and I transform back to dad. And now I'm back. So that's a good way to keep the coaches that are coaching their own kids, because most of these coaches are volunteers and they're coaching their own kids. So finding a way to your kid to understand. So when we're in the car and we're driving home, if he wants to talk about it, I'll talk as the dad, but I'm not like, oh, you need to have stick on puck. Like I never have done that with my kids at any sports. Just, you gotta let them be them, and they'll tell you, you'll see the drive there. But for me, it's being prepared, because once I do that, I realize like, all right, this is going to be a good practice. They'll like this.
Yeah. One of the pieces of advice that I give coaches is, I've talked to younger coaches, and when Drew and I were part of a youth hockey organization and we were on the board and we were helping to help develop the coaches, is smile, like be out there. It's like, if you're not having fun and it's not a joy for you, don't do it, because the kids feed off of that. And I got to give props to my partner here, because he brings this element of compete and fun to our practices with 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. And we've got 18-year-old AAA kids on the ice at high school level who are like, yeah, I want to get on my belly and get up and race. And, one more coach. That's like, whenever I hear one more, I'm like, we can quit now. This is great. This is the day.
Yeah. The one more rep is a great sign.
One more.
That we're doing something fun. So, and I love what you just said about just soliciting in your own way their feedback. Was that fun? But I think it's kind of evident. The one more rep is certainly evidence that the kids are having fun, and then that's a good drill.
Yeah, but both you guys just hit on something really important. I think it's that important. I want to repeat it just to make sure the coaches picked up on it. And we talk all the time, and the players they're going to pick up on what where we're at as coaches. And I think we want energy out of our players. We want passion. We want all that, and we have to be the ones to be able to bring that all the time to game day, to practice. And it's hard sometimes. The guys are. Our coaches, our men and women who are coaching our young players, there's a lot going on sometimes, and but the kids deserve that atmosphere that we're bringing it, and we're bringing the energy, we're bringing the passion. We want it out of our players, and we need to provide it as coaches.
All right, well, Jason, get a little bit of a segue here. We're going into some uncharted territory here. We've never done this before, but it's been a part of our what we want to do. And similar, Jason kind of alluded to it even earlier about sharing ideas. Coaches are thieves. I mean, we are unabashed. Good coaches are great thieves, and we tricked you guys into giving us a couple of great drills that we're going to thieve from you, but then we're going to share with the masses so they can thieve from us as well. So let me see if I can do this here. I'm going to try and share my screen. Share screen. Okay, let's see. Don't show this again. Select my tab. Okay, allow. Oh man. All right, here we go. So let's see. We're gonna go. All right, share. And so Drew and I worked with a company a couple of about a week ago. And can you guys see my screen? Are you seeing Drift Hockey, a library of different drills here?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. I'm gonna.
It's coming
Let's
though.
see if I can do this here. Are you guys seeing yourself still?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Let's see. Grant, if you can help a guy out here, that would be great.
Grant's the rescue here, producer.
Yes, Grant, if you could tell me what I'm doing right or wrong. Let me. All right, so as you guys can see, I'm a bit of a nerd for hockey, and Drew will attest I'm also a nerd when it comes to music. But you two gentlemen, we're going to steal a couple of your drills here. Let's hope that we could see it. So, Scott, let's talk a little bit about your breakout and forecheck game. Let me pull this up, make it a little bit bigger. How's that looking for y'all?
It looks pretty
a little bit.
Looks a lot better than when I had it earlier. I know that.
So walk us through this. So I'm big on the setup because I hate wasting time in practice. So we try to when Drew and I are working practices, whether we've got them into groups or if we're going to use the one group, if we're starting at the middle of the ice, we move out and so forth. But here we've got two groups, black and a blue team.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this drill, and I'll try to narrate us through it here a little bit.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, we when we were talking about this, I had talked about Jason mentioned owning the middle of the ice. I actually had an own the middle game I thought I would do, then I had an angling drill. I thought this one here would really kind of encapsulate everything that we're talking about. And we're looking, whether this it can be done at all ages, but clearly, 14 and over were players. And this drill set up where you may have, if you have more than one team on the ice or you have a group of players, because you'll start to see how this works. But you got the blue and the black, and you got two coaches that are operating out of the center of the ice, both with pucks. You can see that.
Yep.
So if we were to start, you basically it's basically simultaneously. And the first three players in the line, okay, and each line, they're going to react to the first dumped puck by a coach. So if we say it's going to the left side of the ice, you designate a side of the ice that blue, your breakout zone is X. And in this case, we're going to call it the left side of the ice there. Mm-hmm. And their breakout, or excuse me, their forecheck zone would be the opposite. And of course, the black would be just the opposite. Okay, so to the left there, as you're moving that's going to be the black breakout zone. So you don't know when you're going to be getting up to the front of the line. So the coaches, the responsibility of the three players in their breakout end is obviously to be able to get open, move the puck, break the puck out, and carry it over the line and pass to the coach. When that happens, it's time for that coach to put a new puck in. Conversely, while the other side is going, the black is going to be trying to break their puck out. And the blue is going to be trying to forecheck using angling, stick detail. And the best part about this drill is you don't know when you're getting up to the front of the line, you don't know which side's going to finish first. So you could be the breakout group or you could be the forecheck group. And I think what it does, it forces the players to think. It forces players to be the transition piece of the game. You break the puck up, you can score a goal. Obviously, we talked earlier, the angling, the stick details. But I think the best part about this is the players don't know which way they're going to go. When a zone finishes, the coaches puts a new puck in, and it's next three guys. And you could be going either way. And once again, you have a designated breakout side, and you have a designated forecheck side. So I think there's a lot happening here. It could be a quick one. It could be a longer one. Players have to be aware of what's happening.
I love the fact that if you're in line, you can't be. We joke about it. It's like counting the picking dandelions on the ice. You've got to be aware, and you almost got to have. It's almost like you got to have your head in a swivel if you're in line. I know we talk 100%. About shoulder checking, but you've got to be able to. You're paying attention, and I love the fact. So, for those that are watching at home. On this side, the blue team is the defensive team. They're going to retrieve the puck. The black team is the forechecking team. They're trying to gain possession and score. And the blue team's trying to get to their next folks in line or vice versa. Correct?
Yeah, so the blue team would be breaking out of that. They'd be working to break the puck out. The black team would be working at the forecheck end. Mm-hmm. And then on the other side of the ice would be the exact opposite. It would be the black would be breaking out and the blue would be forechecking. And so you may be thinking that it was going to be a clean breakout, but a kid had a great stick detail, knocked the puck back in. So now you're not going that end. You might have to look at the other end. And again, you don't know which end you're going to be at. Coaches are constantly, as soon as the team is able to break it out, they put another puck in, and the next three guys go.
Yep. And so for our tags on this, we obviously forecheck and break out, but you also have support, both D zone and O zone, communication. Probably some other, I think stick work, like you mentioned. I mean, everything that we talked about today.
There's I just want to jump in. There's so much, and I like this too because everybody thinks like I hear coaches at the 10U, 12U, 8U, like D to D, pass to the winger to center underneath. Like, I mean, my kid still forgets his lunchbox to go to school. He's not going to know what a D to D to wing to center is, and it's never going to look like that in the game. So I like this because you're teaching a breakout without saying how to break it out because they're just forced to make plays, and you're not teaching actually like a 1-2-2 forecheck, which is beyond. I can't even believe people actually try to do that with 10U. It's just pressure, go and have a good stick on puck. And, you can add awareness to this and the whole scanning and eyes up. I mean, there's a lot to like here. It's a conditioning drill too. It's a kind of a hidden bag skate a little bit.
Absolutely.
It's everything. It's a great drill. It's simple. And sometimes as coaches, and I'm sure Pooch can appreciate this, like we try to think of all these drills and do these drills that like we think are going to be like, oh, look at my drill. Like less is more. Like less is more. Just simplify it. It's just so much easier, and let the drill play out. It's good. If it's ugly, it's fine. They'll figure it out. They're kids. They figure it. My 7-year-old figure out how to play Fortnite. He didn't know anything. Now he's pretty good at it. They'll figure it out.
Well,
the puck support is key, and it's great point.
Yep. Drew and I have a practice tomorrow. There's a strong chance this is going to be part of the practice tomorrow. But I think, and there's a level of there's such a huge level of compete here, and I love the point you made, Jason. When we talk about breaking out, we talk about like I'm not going to teach you what the breakout is. We just teach you how. Like I'm not going to tell you to do the Boston or Toronto breakout or a third man high breakout, but like let's just learn how to move that puck and support each other and get it up the ice. Once it's on your stick, you're on offense.
I call it. I say when we're in our D zone, just when we need to exit the zone. That's it. And when we go in, we need to enter the zone. Like there's no talk of breakouts and forecheck. Banana land.
Yeah. The last point I'll make with that, and what I love about it as well, is the varying starting points. It's not everybody focused on one end, so guys are going to cheat on pucks or cheat on dump-ins. They're looking both ways, and sometimes somebody's going to have a beat of the puck quicker. Some are going to. So there's all sorts of situations that are created with the variability with it.
Well, Jason and Scott, we've got this drill that Jason and Jason shared. And Jason, I think that even though you've geared this towards younger players who are newer on their journey, I've seen NHL teams and
this is all levels. This is
all levels. I love
this. Is all levels. We start every practice from
and there's body contact here too.
Yeah, for 8U, we practice with 4 teams on the ice, so we do it in one section. But by the 10U team, we do this every practice, the start practice, to the point that the kids know that they'll get the tires and they'll start setting up, and I don't even have to do anything.
I love it. Great. Well, let's walk a little bit through this. I put in here, your information on it, but let's walk a little bit through this and talk about the progression. I know that we're going to have one-on-one battles at every cone or every tire. But tell us a little bit about this for the coaches at home.
Yeah. So typically this is more of the progression of depending on, so where you have it, like where you have the puck right there. So put the black player, the P at the behind the goalie cone.
Right there?
No. Behind the
goalie cone. Gotcha.
Yeah,
over
right
here.
There. So let's just say P, the blue player, is playing against the black player right now.
Gotcha.
They're playing, and the blue player has the puck.
Mm-hmm.
The only way that he can shoot the puck off the tire is if he's inside that circle that, I draw with a marker on the ice. So they're playing one-on-one. Mm-hmm. And then if I score with the blue puck, I have to retreat back to the middle before I can attack the black player. And he's trying to score on my tire.
Okay. So black players defending this goal here, blue players defending this goal here, and they're playing a cross ice almost.
Yep. And you're not allowed to play goalie. So you can skate through the circle that's drawn on the ice, but you can't stay in there and just defend it.
So you have to attack I got you. So you can't score on the cone or the tire until you beat your man one-on-one and get inside the radius there.
Yep. You can't.
And you can play this anywhere on the ice. You could play this neutral
Yep.
zone. This is great.
So what you do is, so typically with these practices, not everybody shows up. So now picture everybody that's across from each other. So to put that P somewhere else. Yep. Now the black is going to be in the other corner. So there's typically now there's 8 guys going.
And it's crazy time.
Yeah. So all those cones are filled. There's 8 guys. They're all going at the same time. So I call it eyes up because there's a lot of chaos through that middle. So there's, 4 black P's and there's 4 blue P's. They all know which is their goal. They all know which is the one they're trying to defend. And they all know that there's only 4 pucks and they can only play their puck. You can't do anything to anybody else's. But just because I'm trying to play against the one player and against his cone in the circle, I might end up on the other side of the ice. Like there's a lot of collisions, a lot.
I bet.
I love it.
But but it forces the kids. Like everybody's like, oh, someone's gonna get hurt. I'm like, they'll figure it out. Like, yeah, they're not gonna get hurt, but they're gonna keep their eyes up. Like they're gonna.
Well, we need that at every level.
Yeah, we talk all the time about creating environments that incentivize players to get their head up. I mean, these are so valuable. It's a tremendous drill, but the value, you can try it by coaches saying get your head up, or you can actually incentivize the drill to make sure you are keeping your head up. And this is clearly one of those. That the awareness is incredible.
And then as we go, as I'm watching, I'll take like one of the players and I'll switch him with somebody. So he's now playing one-on-one against someone else. So he kind of, you see it might get a little stale.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually what happens is I take all those cones out. I do the same drill, but I have 2v2. So now the 8 players that were playing one-on-one, now I just have 4 tires out there and it's 2 versus 2 and 2 versus 2. So so now you got to make plays.
Well, this is similar to like we'll sometimes do a cross ice warm up where we've got 3-on-3 and you've got to make 2 passes before you can score. And we just got the stick on top of 2 tires. Guys, I mean, first off, we're stealing those. And for the listening audience at home, we'll share that those 2 drills will be downloadable PDFs with instructions and coaching points at 2manymenonthemic.com. That's 2, the number 2, manymenonthemic.com. Full recognition to both Scott and Jason with no royalties. Guys, we're coming up on time here. I don't know about you, Drew, but this has been, I think, one of the most impactful and informative shows we've had for our coaches. And I just can't thank you guys enough for sharing your time with us today.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This has been great. I love bringing fun to hockey, helping coaches make practices fun, and kudos on some of the body angling and how to approach body checking. I think that's really important.
Yeah, we're 2 for 2. So as far as the enjoyment level, so can't wait to finish off the hat trick. So this is great. Jason, great job, bud.
Yeah,
there we go, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys, and all those coaches out there. You guys are doing a great job. Like it's hard. You're coming from your job, but you're trying and you care, and that's important. And at the end of the day, we are like Bob said, and everybody at USA Hockey, it's all about the kids. That's why we do it. So thanks for having me. And anything you guys need on my end, you got my information.
Well, we will definitely look out for y'all. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great week and good luck with your teams this season. And go USA once we get to the Olympics later on this year. So
there you go. Yeah, thanks you guys.
Awesome.
See you guys.
Well, Drew, man, I don't know. That's gonna be a tough one to follow up. I think that and if Grant could get on there we take care. That's gonna be a tough one to follow up. And we pulled it off. Special thanks to Brian Dolan and Drift Hockey. So I think that tool worked tremendously, and we'll have the drills and games on the website, toomanymenonthe.mic.com.
No, I love the X's and O's up on the screen. That's a new element. So thanks, Brian and Drift Hockey. That worked well. Jared, maybe you can show me how to share my screen and pull Drift at some point here in the future. Well done.
Well, we definitely shot and scored today. Grant, play the music. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Too Many Men on the Mic. Remember, hockey is more fun the better you get at it.